Introduction. I'm Angie from MoFAS, and tonight we have our young adult panelist with us, and Sierra will be moderating. You all have in front of you a little folder with some resources in it, also a training certificate, so I just wanted to make you aware of that. If at any time you have a question for the panel, you can just raise your hand and we will address it. We also have 3 satellite locations that are viewing this via a live stream right now, so we will be addressing questions from them as well. So again, if you have a question here in St. Paul, just raise your hand and Sierra will repeat it to the group. Do we have any questions so far? All right, well, again, thank you, and we will get started.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming and for tuning in. My name is Sierra, and I'm going to be moderating the panel this evening. We have 5 very wonderful, lovely young adults. They're all lots of fun, wonderful people that I've been able to get to know in the last year or 2 or 3, and that I consider great friends of MoFast. And so I hope that everybody will be able to feel comfortable during this time, feel like we can have an open environment and a discussion. I really firmly believe that, those living with these disorders know the most about it than any of us. We might consider ourselves experts, but we really don't know. And so tonight we're kind of going straight to the source and really have a great opportunity to hear directly from some young men and lady who can share with us what their lives are really like firsthand. So thank you guys, first of all, so much for coming out tonight and for being willing to share your stories with this group of people. I've done this before with them, and they're excellent. Excellent. So we're just going to start out tonight. If you could, we're going to go down the line this way, starting with Liz, and have each one of them introduce themselves to you a little bit.
Liz I was born in LA, California. I've lived most of my life though in Minneapolis, Minnesota. 5 years old. I have I have lots of family, like biological, but I was adopted. Um, so we have quite a big family there too. But I was adopted at a very young age. I by mom and dad, so they're together. So that was kind of cool. But I found out I had fetal alcohol at age 12. Um, I didn't really know much about it, so I kind of like played it, no really much. But it all made sense because I had in my younger days. Still to this day, I struggle with my anger. Well, at the moment, I kind of have a job, but it's a little different. I model, and I also do music. So, I would call that a job because they call you on different shoots all the time. So, what I would like people to know why I do this is because I want kids with FAS to know that they're not alone and kind of get to know me and maybe relate in some type of way. And for adults, to know with what have kids with FAS, to know that just how it is in our environment with a kid and why to understand what you're looking at. The kid is not. Feel free to ask me whatever question. I will be willing. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Hi, my name is Martin Byer, and I was originally born in Little Rock, Arkansas, but then I was adopted at the age of, I believe, yeah. And I now live in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. I'm 18 years old, and I have like out of all my sisters, I have one that's also adopted like me and has autism spectrum disorder. Uh, I learned that I had FAS when I was 8 years old. I was diagnosed by it by Dr. Chang. Student, and what I like to do in my free time is kung fu. The reason why I want to share my story is because I just really think people should know like about FAS, like experts or not, like everyone can learn something new.
Great, thank you, Martin.
My name is Troy Carlson. Born in St. Paul. About FAS. I do work. It's a um, uh, program for developmental disabled adults. And I also volunteer for baseball. And my hobbies are sports, family, friends. I want to share my story because I want other people to know that it just may take a longer time to.
Great, thank you, Troy. I think they can you guys reach that one? Yep. Okay, just be sure to speak really close up to it. I think they're having some trouble hearing.
Hi, my name is Richard Walensky. I'm from Isani, Minnesota. I'm 21 years old. I have I want to share my story because I think it's important for everybody to.
I'm James Jarvis, and was adopted from Russia at about age 3, almost turning 4. Um, I'm 17, and I have a little brother and a little dog. And like, I don't remember exactly how old I was when I found out I had FAS. It was more recently in the teens, also by Dr. Chang. Summer, and I also volunteered a little bit at the Salvation Army. Yes, sorry. And I just would like to share my story just to really help people understand what goes on in our minds, and just so we can.
Great. Thank you all so much again. I'm on? Okay. We would like to open it up at this time. If anybody has anything right away, otherwise I'll be asking them some things as well in between. So just begin thinking, and I will be sure to repeat your question into the microphone so that everyone can hear what it is. And maybe wave your arms around a little bit so that I know, because I'm kind of looking all over the room here. I'm kind of curious if any of you would be willing to share what sort of supports and services do you have right now? Do you have any official supports and services, or do you just have friends or family that help you out? And how does that go? Yeah, pull the mic up close.
I have my biggest supports, which is my parents, 2 wonderful people. I also have PCAs that are the services for that will be going away soon, but I've had that for probably 9 to 10 years. I also work with vocational rehab, and
Anybody else?
My biggest one is my wife. She found out. I seen a little talking about, and I said, "Well, there's a pamphlet. Oh, I want to learn more about FAS. Well, I was mad at first, but then it took me a while to helps me every day. He gets frustrated, but I mean, it's just out at the end.
At school, there's a 504 plan that we have in place just to really help as a backup for whenever I loss of parents and family.
A 504 plan is, can you explain it a little bit, or should I?
Well, I don't know a lot of details about it other than it's have about it, and it's just supposed to be like, I mean, if I need extra copies of something or if I need someone
That's a good way to explain that. If
Yeah.
if anything needs to be changed, they won't think that it's for no reason at all. So
Yeah.
they understand how to help you if you need it.
All the supports that I have is I see a therapist. Talk to someone, they're like the first people who I call. Also, like medication is a big support.
Thank you, Martin. Can I ask you one question? Do you go to therapy of your own interest? Is that something that you have been able to kind of say that you want for yourself?
Well, at first, like I didn't really want it that much, but then I realized.
Did you want to say anything about that question? Or? Sports, yeah.
I would say for the most part, my mom helps me out a lot, and really close friends, my boyfriend, and basically, I don't know, but I think top one out of all is my mom. She been I can get with my anger problems there constantly, and I thank her a lot because she goes through it. So that's my support. And as far as services, I get Social Security.
Any audience questions right now? All right. Let me just repeat the question a second. She's asking the person, which was Richard. Richard said that he had PCA services, and the question is, what did the PCA services help with? Right? What did the PCAs do with you?
They help me with like day-to-day living, getting up in the morning, bed, brushing my teeth. All those things. So now they show me community skills, like how to use and stuff like that.
The question is, what is a PCA, and why did he say that they're going to be going away soon? That's two questions on your tab. Go ahead.
A PCA is a personal care attendant, and they're going to be going away soon because I've gotten to the point where I'm not going to qualify anymore. So they've helped me that much that
Okay. I'm wondering if you would be willing to share a little bit about your friends, your social circles. Who do you make friends with easily or not so easily? Who do you consider a friend? Um,
I consider I used to make horrible decisions in friends. Someone acts nice to you, they're your friend. When really I ended up in really sloppy situations, lost living situations. People would. It's amazing how people come in your life. So now I have way better judgment. You really have to know someone's there. You can't just invite them into your life because people will. But I think they do it to people without disabilities. You got to be very careful who you decide to hang out with. I basically, when I meet people, I actually hang out with them more than one time before you giving out numbers, addresses, etc. You actually have to. I mean, I limit myself to I will talk to you. Gotta be careful because
all right, yeah, let's just pass it down like that, and if you can hold it right up to your
Like
mouth.
right here. Okay. Well, I kind of go along with Liz about like I used to just have like a first conversation with someone and bam, it's like right there, they're my friend. But it got me into like a heap of trouble. Like like I started hanging out with like really negative influences because it felt like the positive influences never really accepted me. So I used to hang out with people who like I thought like gangs were cool. I used to always hang around people who are like either like in them or associated with them. So I almost ended up in one, and that get me in a lot of trouble. And like I hung out with like friends that like did drugs, and, and I almost ended up trying drugs and stuff like that. Like it, it's kind of hard to sometimes distinguish who's gonna be your friend or like who's gonna accept you, but like you'll find someone out there that will accept you. There's always someone that what you look for in a friend is you gotta observe how they act and say, hey, do I really want to hang out with that person if he's acting this way or that way? So yeah.
When I was younger, I was involved with people in gangs, drugs, alcohol. I started drinking when I was like 13, 14. Uh, when I started doing that stuff, my parents never knew. I didn't let them know. I would sneak out of the house, go do drugs, go drink, and come back, or I would after school skip school, and or I'll go to school high, or have be drunk, and then I'll try to hide it at school. So I just turned my life around when my daughter was born. When I found out my ex-wife was pregnant, and I knew right then and there that I had a huge responsibility and I had to change. And it took a little bit, but I've been clean for about 9 years now of drugs. I still do drink once in a while, but not as much as I used to. So and I'm very careful who I pick with my friends. I really don't trust a whole lot of people right, just because I've been burned in the past, and it's hard for me to trust people I don't know. So the friends I do have now, I stick with them, and that's it.
Um, because of my abusive past, I never really trusted anybody to be my friend. So I've had very few friends over the years, but the friends that I've had over the years have become very good friends. So I might have like six, but they're really close and really good friends. The other people that I used to consider my friends, because I used to like everybody at one point, especially in high school when you're trying to be accepted by a different group, try to fit in with everybody, and that got me into trouble. never drank, which was good. But yeah, I have about 6 good friends.
I have actually been very blessed with friends. Um, just I have a cousin that I hang out with all the time, and when I look at a friend, it's usually if their values are gonna match mine for the most part, and my cousin's just like a perfect match for hanging out with, and just great example, and so whenever I mean, since ever since I've been really hanging out with him a lot, I usually find people that are like him, and it's I've just found like groups of kids at my high school and stuff that are just all have a similar setting, and it's I mean this whole choosing your friends has been pounded in my head by my parents for years, so it's I don't know. I've been very blessed to be able to find people that have been really good for me, and haven't really dealt with many people that aren't like that. So
Great. Thank you all. The question is about the audience member said she has a 24-year-old son who frequently complains about boredom. And so, do any of the panelists have any um, ideas around that? Like, is that something you've had to deal with a lot of free time and you're not sure what to do with yourself? And what hobbies have you found or ways to fill the free time and not get bored?
I used to have that, and I still do. But since I'm a sports fanatic, I usually put around sports or something I like to do. Um, like I'll go on the computer and do fantasy football for hours, and my wife would be like, would be happy with that. But I'm keeping myself busy and not getting into drugs and drinking. So at first it was hard. I mean, I would keep telling her I'm bored, and she goes, well, let's do something here. You don't always have to go out. So I'd find something to do around the house, either computer, watch TV, movies, play a game, you know, kids, whatever. So
Clean the bathroom, maybe.
I just found something to do, and I mean, it took time, but it still happens now, but not as much anymore.
So you are 32,
33.
33. So, that's maybe a kind of as time went on, as you kind of grew up a little bit and found some things in your life that had some meaning. So, Martin had a comment too.
Oh yeah. Um. Like what I learned in like the past years is like the number, like one of the number one like gateways like trouble is being bored. Uh, it's like I when I'm feeling bored, I either pick up a puzzle or just like go on a walk. You always find something to do, like going on a walk. You always see something you want to do or check out. Like it just depends on where you are. So like so like other things I'm doing on board is like just try to like I just write and yeah, that keeps me busy.
Anybody else want to comment on that? We can take it. Okay. Okay. The question from Mankato is, what would you say to younger children who have received a diagnosis on the FASD spectrum to let them know that there is hope and it does get better?
I'll just tell them that there's gonna be struggles all the time, but you have to stay positive with them. So I'm gonna stay positive, and you support them and steer them positively in the right direction. Support's a big thing. Me growing up, I didn't have it a whole lot. It was just like my mom. So the more support, the better it is. And just just have them be around positive and just steer them in the right direction. If you go negative, that's what they're going to accept that, and they're going to be used to having negative. So just, I mean, it's positive and basically a lot of support for them.
Just for one, the fact that us five of us, I think, is up here is a pretty good um, look at how this does. There is hope for people with FASD to work through things. I mean, you got to be really accepting with services and stuff. I know I hated having to go to therapy and stuff when I was younger. I wouldn't want to go. I wouldn't want to have to deal with, and it just didn't feel good knowing I had something that was setting me back. But like, learning to accept it has really been helpful, and just sticking with it, not giving up, and yeah.
Oh, what I tell them is like there's nothing wrong with them. You may have problems like struggles that you have every single day, but that's no reason to wish that you could change who you are, because who you are is just who you are. Like people just have to learn how to accept who you are, or they're not true friends. And like, yeah.
I believe and I say keep your head up always, because I believe everyone with AFAS has an opportunity to show that they can accomplish things, such as, I'm actually less too happy to alcohol, because by doing that, I can speak to you guys. I wrote a book as well, and telling people, professionals and kids, all about my life, and I'm sure I relate to some circumstances with another, and I'm just grateful to have it, because I can teach others and enlighten them. And always go for your dreams, regardless if you have a disability or not. You can do it. So I don't know. With that being said,
And I just wanted to mention, since you mentioned your book, Liz did bring some books along that will be available to those of you here in the St. Paul location to look at afterwards and to purchase. There's a number of different books that she has published along with her mom.
mm-hmm.
Else? Hope for the future? Okay.
Right.
Okay, that kind of goes together. Let me repeat it for the other sites. The question was for a preteen daughter, what advice would they give to her as the mother about giving her daughter freedom and also protecting her from making some poor friendship choices? And at what point to step in and say, this is not safe anymore?
Well, a couple ideas. I know I had the similar problems. I was friends with all the bad people in the neighborhood because it was cool. But maybe figuring out some fun activities where she would have opportunity to meet some positive individuals. I don't know. Look it up somewhere. I'm not sure where to look it up. I don't know where you're from, but just like, okay, well, I know positive people are getting here, and maybe you can even meet the parents. It's always good to meet the parents, because usually if it's a positive mother, I don't know if they have a father or not, but a positive mother, you usually get positive kids. So maybe if you can meet the parent, um, and also look into going, it is a difficult situation when you just you can't hang out with her, because usually the kid will want to repel and say, I'm going to hang out with her anyways. You know what I mean? And maybe not do it in front of you, but do it behind your back. And that hopefully she doesn't do that, but I'm just speaking on my behalf what I used to do. But I think it would have helped if I would have had alternatives, because it's kind of difficult when you have so many people out here what isn't raised right, and they get the influence going on there, and even in public schools they meet things. So if you could find some organization or things where she can meet some positive kids, I think she would like them. You know what I mean? It's just an idea.
Well, one of my ideas on that is, well, like maybe like if her friend said something, like if you asked her friends like what they think about this person, and she hears it from them that they're a negative peer, then she might be more willing to listen. Or like if you find someone positive, just ask her like, hey, at least try hanging out with this person for. Uh, I'm asking is maybe for like one day. Tell me what you think about them, like and how everything goes. Like I I know it's pretty hard to support people and kids when they rebel and all that. Like you just as a mother, you just want to step in and help them out. Sometimes like I don't know sometimes the best way to do it, but uh yeah, just try to get other people to convince them too, like that are close to them too, and they'll probably listen.
Good idea. Peer influence, but for a better purpose.
One that my parents tried with me was to get me into organizations or activities after school during the summer, whatever. It didn't work with me because I was really negative about it. I didn't want to because I thought it was cooler to hang out and do drugs. But I have a daughter. She's gonna be 8, and what I'm thinking already of doing is jumping in and just trying to just steer her in the right direction. Because if you let her stay with this friend, she could go down a different path, and it could be hard to get her back on track. It's just probably a road you don't want to go down. So just try to jump in and just explain the situation, or even talk to her mom, friend's mom, say what's going on. I don't. Is there anything? Is there any negative going on between the two? And if so, try to figure it out.
This is a one word question, either yes or no. When you look back now, do you understand why your parents had to cut you off sometimes, or to like cut off relationships, or do the things they did that really made you angry?
Definitely yes for me.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go, Mom. Okay. Okay. The question coming from Grand Rapids is, have any of you ever had to deal with the justice system? And you describe your experience? Is that what it was? Describe your experiences with the justice system, the law, the court, jail, police, whatever.
I had some drugs. Um, I got caught stealing a pumpkin from this pumpkin place, and I tried lying, and I blamed it on this other guy, and so I got arrested and then put me in cuffs and brought me downtown, and they parents came, and dad wasn't too happy, and he just asked me what name did I use, and I used the same first name but a different last name. But I mean, I've been there before, and I stayed a night in jail, and it wasn't fun, but I've learned my lesson. I haven't done it again.
Yeah, I've been through the court system. Actually, just got done being in the court system. Got my charges cleared. I think it was 2010. But anyways, I had sexual offenses. I went to treatment for about 2 years, and then I went to a group home for like psychosexual stuff. Like it was basically like a placement after treatment. And I've been spending like a lot of time away from home, but I'm finally back at home now. So glad. Like it's a scary thing. Like when you're in there, like because before I went, I was like, I like when people said, "Well, you're gonna go to treatment," I was like, "Well, I was open up my eyes when I wake up and I won't be there anymore." It doesn't happen that way. You're there like to get help, and you just gotta think think before you act and just think clearly, and you'll be on the right road.
I was involved with the police, a lot of underage consumptions, and then when I got old enough to drink, a lot of trouble with drinking. I've now been sober for 2 years on the 15th. Um, thank you. Before that, I had drank for 4.5 years every single day. Um, I drank half a liter a day, sometimes a liter. It was pretty bad. I picked up by the police, blood alcohol of 0.47, lots and numerous of times. They had to pump my stomach a bunch of times, restart my heart a whole bunch of times. Um, so I was involved with police a couple times, what I wasn't aware of, but the next morning I found out. I've been in detox a bunch of times, deported by the police. Um, and as far as like charges, Um, I only have trespassing besides drinking issues. But now that I got my head on right, I accomplished way more than I when my life was at a halt. But yeah.
Unless someone else wants to say something first, what I want to ask is, would you say that the justice system, being the police, the courts, and the law, have they been helpful or unhelpful? Your opinion.
So for my opinion on it, there's certain cops do certain things. Um, I believe some cared for me, really did. Um, One time I got assaulted by the police. I was drunk and I gotta believe I probably was like maybe I wasn't fighting the cops and I was young and they struck me with their stick over and over again. And if I wasn't, I was on like commit or something like that, so I didn't report them because otherwise I would have got in trouble. It just wouldn't have worked in my favor. I told my mother about it, got beat up by the police, but I never got a disorderly conduct. That's how I know that the police weren't. Because if I was trying to fight the police, they would automatically put a disorderly conduct. So there was some phony business. So, but as far as the law goes now, I've actually took police classes. I did community classes, graduated that, going for my dad got my mom and me into it. A carry permit. I'm not gonna carry though. I think I'm just doing it for the heck of it and shooting, just whatever. But we do it as a fun family activity. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that the systems like have helped me a lot and maybe even saved my life because the day I went to treatment, I was supposed to beat up a kid to get jumped into the gang. God knows what they'd have me do then, but yeah, so I think it's been like helpful. I've been like a lot more successful too because before I had like really bad rages for like no reasons. Couldn't get my meds right. Like when I went there, I knew I had to straighten up, otherwise I get shipped out to another place and just get worse than that, and I start all over.
So going into treatment for one reason, but actually helped you in a lot of areas.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It helped me, but it wasn't immediately. It took a longer time for me to realize what was going on and what I needed to change. So I just one day I just stopped and I changed and I stopped doing drugs and drinking heavily and you know beating up people, hanging out with gangs and doing drugs. And it's a better life now than it was when I was a teenager and growing up.
I didn't know if either comments. Okay. Oh wow. let me fill in the other sites real quickly. Gentleman in the audience is asking about a situation with his 14-year-old daughter, um, and her struggles with lying, and that seemed to come on rather suddenly and lasted pretty intensely for a number of months about just straight lying to the face of the parents. And do the panelists have any advice for the parents of a child who has that struggle, just kind of upfront, outright lying to the parents all the time?
No, I definitely understand. I mean, I've lied a lot too to my parents. It seems to be a common thing. I don't know. Just part of it is a lot of what I've learned is through experience more than having someone tell me. But also I find through therapy, finding someone that can talk to me about it is better almost than having a parent tell me, because it's easier to listen to someone else than your parent, because you just think they're doing their parent thing where they're just like, yeah, you don't do this and that, and you get upset. And I found it easier to listen to someone else. Um, and also just what else? And as I said, just experience. Sometimes um, I've learned more just through when I find out that someone finds out I've lied or something, then you just learn more that way, I guess.
Well, like sometimes like when I lied, like it, like I didn't really think before I said something, like because like you get asked a question, you kind of panic and like you say the first thing that comes up in your head. Like I'm not saying it's right that we do that, but
It wasn't intentional. I'm
yeah,
going to lie right now.
yeah, yeah. So like you could tell your daughter uh to like if you're like take a couple deep breaths, take a moment and think about what you're gonna say.
In our household, I found that it's not usually lying; it's more storytelling. Um, uh, because it's an exaggeration of the truth or the opposite of that. So, I guess what you could probably do is like try to have her think about what she's going to say first. I've panicked when I've gotten asked questions. You say the first thing that comes to my mind.
Guys, we have a question from another site. Question is, does anyone use visual cues or other kinds of reminders to help you remember things?
Yes, at work and when I was at school, I always had picture booklets. Like at work right now, if I have to do multiple things in a row, I'll have visual picture. Like if I have to move concrete, they'll show a picture of the. Then that'll remind me that I have to do that. If I have to stock wood, then somebody will tell me to do that, but it'll also be written down or somewhere else, so then I know what I have to do for the day. So I guess I do still use visual cues.
I definitely use visual cues. A lot of my day, if I don't have something written down, it's probably going to be forgotten. Um, that's a lot of that's really just in school with homework. If I don't have it written down, I'll end up forgetting it and then not doing it, and then the grades will show that. And also at home, just whenever we have chores or something, it's very easy to forget, especially if you're not being supervised all the time on every little thing you're doing. It's easy to just kind of go off and do my own stuff. So I definitely like to have a schedule like set up or a plan or something to rely on.
Well, I don't like visual cues because like if other people see them, they're like, "What the heck is that?" But like, well, if I get off on like inappropriate subjects or just like forget to do something, like it's all in the tone of voice that someone says something. I just remember they say it, like for like my meds, for example, they'd be like, "What time is it?" And then I just remember talking to my meds. So yeah,
More subtle cues.
yeah.
Good.
I if it's not in routine, I do have a problem with forgetting things. Um, I wish I had some kind of system. I'm never really. The problem is what I struggle with is I'll write something down and I'll lose the paper. And then I'm freaking out. I'm like, I wish it could be emailed to me because I'm constantly on the internet. I mean, but with a routine though, things like I do on a ritual, I always remember to do. But if it's like a appointment, I do struggle with that. So I that's actually some great ideas. Actually, now that I actually thinking of the subject, I'm gonna ask if I can get an email. Um, but yeah, sorry.
Good. Another question? Okay, so the question is, thinking back to elementary and middle school, what would have made things easier for you? What was hard and what would have helped?
I'd say more support and just teachers and counselors understanding what FAS is and what we deal with on a constant basis and the challenges that we do have. Back then, they probably didn't have the research, but it was a struggle for me in high school until my senior year, my last quarter. So I struggled throughout school most of the time.
Do we have any teachers or school staff in the room right now? This side? Great. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. Okay. Another answer?
Well, the accommodations, like I'm gonna say it again, accommodations could have really made it easier for me, especially in elementary school, because I didn't really get the math that they're doing. I still struggle with math today, to this day. Well, they made accommodations for like me to be able to chew gum in school because it helps me concentrate, but that doesn't like really help me like with all the math problems I had because getting overwhelmed is the first stage, and then panicking is the second stage, pretty much. And that makes it so much harder for me to work. And but when I can't work, I get really behind it. It makes everything a lot worse.
Um, what was difficult with me is the teachers thinking and saying you're not paying attention when really I was doing probably 10 times more harder than anyone in the class because it was so hard for me to process what they were saying and think of what I'm doing. Like, I have to listen to you, plus, I have to do it. That's using two different sides of my brain, and you're expecting me to get it done in what, 20 minutes? And that was difficult for me. And also, I'm gonna give an example. The teacher's writing on the board, and you have to copy all the notes. By the time you get two sentences done, they erase it and write some more. I'm like, oh my god! If you guys could have, if teachers could print it out and give them an option, like pass out something on a paper, not to put them on like Front Street, but if you need help at the end of the day, but they don't say it on the micro or the whole class, please come to us and ask. You know, if you guys need extra paper and explaining instead of making it rush to get it done. You know what I mean? Just more understanding and being able to work with the individual?
I was always able to get my work done. It was my organizational skills that were the problem. So I guess what really would have helped me was to have like a locker buddy that would have kept my locker clean, because I would get all my work done and then I would put it in my locker and then I wouldn't be able to find it. And then I would have to turn it in like a month late. And then by then it was too late to get the good grade for it. So a better organizational skills kind of thing. I got that later on in like junior high and high school, but for elementary school that would have helped a lot.
FAS is part of the thing is it's you can't see it in kids really. There's no like physical sign that you have it, and I find that when I was younger, I mean, teachers they would just bunch you into a group of kids that are not acting well, and they wouldn't know any better that it was something different. So if you don't pay attention or if you don't get something done, it wouldn't be because you had a problem with like um, functioning at school, but it would be because they would think it was just because you weren't trying hard enough and stuff, and that would be difficult. So if it would just really have been helpful if teachers had known more about FAS and just any kind of disorders like that to be able to help us.
I hear a recurring theme here of teachers understanding more. Get on that. All right, I'm gonna see. Is it okay if we take a short break right now? Just like 5 minutes, literally. So we can all get up and stretch and get some water, snacks, and whatever we need to do. And then we'll start back up again in about 5 minutes. Okay? Tell them to do it at their sites. Okay, good idea. Let's start finding our seats again.
Well, hopefully everybody is refueled and ready to ask more questions. We have about an hour or so left. Just real quickly, I'm going to pass this sheet around if you are interested in receiving any information from MoFast. There's some check boxes that you can choose to do so. And then also, if you do not have a folder, just let me know. We do have an evaluation in each of those folders, so before you leave tonight, if you can fill that out and give us your feedback, we would really appreciate it. Okay, thanks.
Great, thank you, Angie. All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm going to start off the questions this round. We'll continue to take them as they come. I just wanted to ask you guys, when do you decide to tell someone that you have a disability, or have you ever told anybody? When, who do you tell, basically, or not tell?
Basically, I've always told my teachers, because if I didn't tell them, then I wouldn't get the help and the supports that I needed at school. Otherwise, I don't think I'd tell anybody unless they'd absolutely have to know, unless it's going to affect my judgment or my ability or skills to do something, then I don't think they need to know.
So, for instance, right now you work at Menards.
Correct.
And you said that you use some pictures to do
Yep.
things. Is that
And
a general thing?
And that's a general thing.
Okay.
So, which
That's
was
cool.
kind of cool because it helped me right off the bat. So Menards doesn't know I have fetal palsy, and it doesn't affect my job or the skills of my job. And if it does, then I guess I'd have to let them know.
Well, I told my wife, and I tell people that I trust. I recently told my work, and I just told them, hey, this is what's going on. And they actually were happy and proud that I told them because they could see that I was struggling at work and I was struggling to write papers. So now they have a great understanding why I struggle to write papers and why I struggle at work sometimes. And I only told my immediate boss and my supervisor, and that's it. And it's just between the three of us, and it's stayed there. So it's good because I think they need to know that, hey, I have FAS, I have a disability, sometimes it affects me, and I have major struggles, and they need to know that, or else my job can be in jeopardy. And if they know, it will help.
And what's cool about Troy's job is he actually gets to help other people with other disabilities in their lives. James?
I usually don't ever tell anyone. I actually don't know if anyone really knows about it. The only people that would know are teachers, and even then, I haven't ever told them really. It's usually my parents that have to get up and tell them because I don't know, I just don't ever seem. I mean, I know it's necessary in some cases, but I just don't ever really find a reason to tell people. Um,
Well, the people who I tell is like I tell my friends, but I don't tell them right away. Like I'll wait a while and see if they're trustworthy or like if they're the kind of people who use it like an argument if we're frustrated or would use it against me. So like, I only tell people who I can absolutely trust, and I just let them know if they're asking too much, like information about me, and yeah.
Um, some cases, but more than likely, I am always upfront. Hey, I don't care because it's pretty obvious. I have a book that says fetal alcohol syndrome on it. They're gonna be like, okay. But if I just meet a stranger in the street, I'm not gonna be like, hi, I'm Liz. I have fetal alcohol. You know what I mean? But once I have like a friendship, or it's a loved one, or it's a professional, etc. I'm pretty upfront with it, cause I mean I have been a couple times. Mean people have said, "Oh, you retarded FAS baby," and I'm like, "Oh, I do have FAS. I'm sorry you feel that way. There's nothing wrong with that, my opinion, but I'm sorry you feel that way. You're just trying to be hurtful." So, but yeah, I can see where someone wouldn't want to talk about it. And all individuals, I don't know. I'm just open person. But yeah.
Oh, thank you all for sharing. Let's take a question from a satellite site. Okay, the question from Grand Rapids is, what are your goals for the future, and what might be barriers in reaching those goals?
Well, my plan for the future is I want to have well, I stay in my own place right now, but I would like to move from Minnesota and have a really nice place. Also, I want to pursue my music and also have other careers besides my music. So, you never know. Whatever. I um I like actually want to solve murders. I know that's weird. I don't look like that kind of person, but my mother was a homicide. They didn't find her killer. Um I believe it's my father, my real father, everybody, not my dad. But I don't know. I have a couple things what strike my attention. I also love cooking. So it'd be nice to be like in a restaurant and cook. Um so I have a bunch of different wants in life, and I'm not sure which one's gonna strive to me, but the only complication is getting more on a schedule. Cause right now I'm just like night, night, night. I'm in the morning. Cause sometimes we're at shoots till 4 in the morning. So um, basically getting on schedule and being able to control my anger, because that's a barrier in my path right now, is I will blow up on people when I get really mad. And it usually is my mother because we're so comfortable with each other. But um, not an evil person, but when people nitpick me and accuse me of things I did not do, that is a trouble to me. Or try to tell me what I can and can't do. I'm 25, I'm my own guardian now. It just sometimes gets frustrating to me. And but I started going to a counselor, but she didn't work. So I hope my anger doesn't hold me back for long. But I have faith that I can pull through this.
Oh well, my plans for the future, like to be honest with you, they change every single day. I want it to be something different. Yeah, but one thing I've really been looking into is like having a job of like writing. Like I already have kind of like a little job that I'm gonna be starting where I write essays about my disability and topics that they have, like how I deal with it, and I get paid for doing that, like $50 if they choose my paper. So I was like, hey, as long as I can help, I'll do that. I can go to school for like auto mechanics and all that stuff because my parents are gonna put me in transitional services, But since now I got higher IQ test score, they think I can go to college. So yeah.
Mine is probably stay married. And,
It's a good one.
own a house someday, and I want another kid. I don't know. There's challenges I deal with every day, so it's just I mean it's different challenges. I just deal with them as they come. I mean I'm not gonna go ahead and try to jump when I'm not there really. So I just deal with it every day and see what comes.
Someday I'd like to live in my own house and be an officer. And I think with the supports that I have now, I don't think there will be a barrier. But I have such great supports that I think I can overcome it.
I'm senior right now, so I'm looking at colleges, specifically Inver Hills, just 2 years there and then transfer probably. Barriers would be just organization. The one thing that kind of scares me most about moving out or going to college would be that being on my own factor. I mean, I really want that, but at the same time, I don't know how it's going to turn out if I'm going to be able to stick with the plan and stuff. So.
Let's take another audience question. Oh, I have one right up front. I'll take first. Yeah. Great. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, just to share with the other sites, the lady up front was saying, has anyone ever just told the panelists that this is not their fault and that what they're doing is really amazing and how they're really living out their lives and making the most of their lives is inspiring and great to see. So we just applauded them here. Troy had a comment.
Yeah. I just got in touch with my biological mom about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I confronted her on it. I said, "Hey, what happened?"
Okay, well that'll be the next question.
And so she sent me court papers, and these court papers specifically said she didn't want me and she couldn't handle it. She kept telling me I got taken away. I got taken away. They took me from you, and it was wrong. So she kept lying, and now I haven't had contact with her for months because she won't admit what is going on, what's happening, and I refuse to have contact until she admits it.
Anyone else want to address the question of whether you're with your birth parents now? Yes, yeah, sorry. Or the one before.
Since day one of being adopted, my mom and dad have always told me it's not my fault. And they've always congratulated me and applauded me on everything that I've done good.
I don't know, just similar to him. I mean, my parents have also all the time have told me that it's not my fault. And just to kind of put in perspective, I mean, I'm a runner, so I like to run, and I find that if I were to run with a broken leg or something and finish, it's just going to be that much more of an accomplishment for me. And it's similar with like FAS. I mean, I feel like the little things I do might not be that important, but because of my disorder, being able to work through that and do the normal things is a bit more of an accomplishment. It's nice to be able to have.
Well, my parents still tell me it's not my fault, but like lately I've been kind of down, so I take it upon myself. Like I made like some comments like, "Well, my birth mom started, so I I don't know what's going on, but I I just believe it's not my fault.
Um, I get compliments. My mom does sometimes, but also I get from all you guys, not particular anybody, but that telling me, you're doing good and we're proud of you. And um also my sisters and my boyfriend always give me compliments, and it's really nice to have people that actually understand and want to understand. And thank you everyone for being here tonight. I obviously that shows a big thank you. You know what I mean?
If you want to talk about that at all, contact with your biological parents. You know them.
Well, my mom was a homicide, so I didn't get a chance to meet her. She got murdered when I was only like 3 months. Um, and I was still in the hospital at that point, so I never went home with her. Um, my father, I met once. I actually met him in detox. So we were in detox together. So, and he's probably dead now because he was a very sick man at that point. Um,
Well, only contact I have with my birth mom is 3 letters, but now that I'm 18, at the end of the school year, I'm going to be having therapy for a unification, so I get to meet her. And I'm really excited for that.
Like I said, I had contact, but not anymore. It's been months. My father, I never met. As soon as I was born, he took off. He refused that he was my father, and I have no clue where he's at. I've looked in prisons, jails, but he's got a common name, so I won't find him. I did have a relationship with my biological sister, but then that got broken off for some reason. I'm still close on that, but right now there's none, and I like it that way because of just the drama and how they bring.
I was adopted when I was 6, and ever since then I've had no contact, which I'm glad. Or not when I was 6, when I was 8. And I'm glad because my biological birth parents were very abusive, like horrible people.
I haven't had any contact with mine. I don't even really know who they are. Part of it is they're in Russia, so it'd be kind of hard to find them. Um, but just, and I've never really had, I mean, it kind of goes back and forth on how I feel about wanting to know more about them. Because sometimes I would like to know more and just know stuff about them, but at other times it's when I'm like upset or something and I'm blaming them, it's the opposite. So I don't know. I haven't really ever had much of a desire lately to try to connect, and it'd be hard as it is anyway.
Let's maybe get one of the other sites. I think there's quite a few. So the question from Grand Rapids is, have any of you ever had to deal with ownership and stealing? I guess ever had trouble with stealing and had to learn ownership as a concept, what that is, that something didn't belong to you. Or maybe if you did steal, you knew it wasn't yours, but how have you, learned what ownership is and how to respect ownership?
I did. I stole a lot when I was younger, and one of the last times I did, my mom brought me back and made me tell them all sorry for stealing. It wasn't right. I should have done it, and that I won't do it again. So they said they wouldn't call the cops, but they put a year ban on me from going to that store. But after that, I didn't do it again.
Um, just I don't know. I mean, I remember when I was a lot younger, sometimes I would take things from friends, and usually it was a small thing here or there, maybe, but I do remember that. Also, more recently, or it was actually more like 8th grade, I think. Just when we went to Valley Fair as a group for our school, I remember um, taking something from a store there and thinking I could get away with it. Some guy ended up following me, and he knew. And what was really hard about that was the principal later had me, and this was right before like graduating from like junior high, I think. And the principal had me get up in front of everyone right before we went to like the ceremony thing and apologize to them, and it was awful. I remember that, but it really helped to teach me. And then also probably around that same time was um, taking my parents' credit cards to get something because I don't know what it is with FAS, but I find when I want something, I get really focused on it, and it's hard to not, or it's hard to just like stay away from that. Yeah, and I just remember as a result of that, they had me go to the police station just to kind of get a tour of it, and the police guy was, you know, warning me and stuff. And it was just that more concrete example that really stuck with me.
There you go. Okay, I have a question right here, sir. We're taking a question via text. The question is about conscience and feelings of right, guilt or wrong action. Did you something maybe did you feel bad about what you did or just having lost a privilege? Um, and I think we could expound on that quite a bit, but the question is especially regarding their daughter, and she doesn't seem to show that at this age. So, any thoughts?
Especially when I was younger, I definitely always felt bad about getting caught. Never about doing whatever it was, but once I learned how it affected other people, and like if it hurt somebody else, then it dawned on me that my actions do affect other people.
Oh, well, I still had that problem. It's not that we don't lack a conscience. That's not the problem. It's we feel like we let someone down, so and we hurt them badly. So we are like our main feeling sometimes is like feeling regret and like venting. So like, well, if I didn't get caught, well, then people wouldn't be hurt right now, or wouldn't. And they might think you think not as much of them. So you'd say like, well, next time I won't get caught, so I won't have to cause so many problems.
Can I try and clarify?
Yeah.
Just make sure I understand what you're saying. Is not so much that you wouldn't feel bad about causing harm, but that you didn't always make a connection between what you did and someone else getting hurt, whether you got caught or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else on the conscience?
Sure. Also, as he said, we don't lack a conscience. A lot of the reason, at least why I go behind people's backs sometimes, is the trust. I mean, if you've ruined your trust with someone the first time, it's very easy to say that they're not going to trust us again. So we go and put that into our own hands, and we do whatever we got to do to um, that we think we have to do to get what we want. And but I notice after I do something and I apologize, I might not realize it right away, but it might take me a day or longer to really realize that I've done something wrong. And yeah.
You guys are all speaking so very maturely. I'm wondering if there is a point when you saw a shift in your own maturity? Like, was there a point in your life where you felt like all of a sudden you did kind of understand these things more and understand life more? And if so, how old were you when that happened?
I'll just start again. I don't know. It's part of, I don't know if it's just me, but I like to think sometimes that I usually do know a lot already. But recently, just after like junior high, I've gotten more involved with the youth group at our church, and that's really been helpful. So.
Anyone else? Thoughts of did you notice a point when you felt more mature, or that you felt like you did kind of grow up and understand more about the things of life?
Probably about ninth grade.
Okay. Yeah, that's the question. Thanks.
I probably noticed that I got more mature, like when I went to treatment, and I just knew I had to grow in maturity, otherwise I'd never make it out. So it's like constantly hearing that what I'm doing is immature, like laughing at farts is immature. So I even though I still do it sometimes, like I just like having like certain social skills. They taught social skills there, and we developed them like over time because we practice so much. So getting different social skills like shows that you're mature too.
I would say I got more mature once I became sober because I got to actually know what was going to help me move on with my life because I wasn't getting anywhere. I was basically stuck in that same maturity and the same level for those years of using. And I got piece by piece come back to me once my brain was working more clearly. And I would say my most growth was in the past year. Then I've gotten really much better with what I'm accomplishing. So I would say in the last 2 years I've been more better, but in the last year I've been doing really well.
I would say early 20s when it started, and just matured more and more as the years went on. Um, and also with my support, my main support person, just giving me reminders of just different things and that I should be more mature and act my age sometimes, and it helps me out a lot actually.
Let's take another question from the computer. Okay. The question from Grand Rapids is, does faith play a big role in your support?
Well, you need to have faith in yourself, otherwise nothing's ever gonna get done. Of course, like have faith in like whatever you can grasp. Having faith. Faith doesn't have to be something tangible that you can touch or see. It just has to be known. Like just make forcing yourself to believe that everything's gonna be okay no matter what.
I agree. I think that you should have faith in yourself and believe that you can move on with your life. I also had faith in God. And I believe that if I have my faith in my higher power, that I can accomplish him when I'm struggling. I would hope that I go to him because that's what helps me succeed.
Faith definitely helps. I know oftentimes I don't know. I mean, I have like conflicting ideas with my parents about what I want to do. Oftentimes I'll want to do something and they'll be like, "No, you can't do that," or "We want you to do this," and it can be really hard to have faith in what they're saying and what they're planning for me, because the unknown is just hard to face sometimes. But just having faith in parents and making the right decision, also faith in God and faith in friends, for being there for you when you need it.
Another one? Bring them on. Okay, so that's leading off of something that came up before. I think we talked a little bit about not enjoying going to therapy, or not wanting to go when you were younger. And the question is, what would have made it easier? It's probably maybe a parent in that situation right now trying to get their kid to go. What would make it easier?
Well, being straightforward with your kid. Well, maybe not telling them that it's not going to be the funnest thing to do, but it's a necessary thing. They just have to trust you. It's like if you tell them it's fun, it doesn't turn out to be fun. They're not going to trust you. Maybe like the therapist like mixes it up a little bit. Like, and I liked OT. That's one thing I liked because there's fun things I got
Occupational
to do.
therapy.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's so fun things you could do. So.
Other ideas?
I didn't like therapy mainly because it would put me like in a group of kids that I would think. I mean, it would put me like in a spot where I would have to face the fact that I'm different. I didn't like having to have to admit that I had a disorder. I just wanted to be normal. But what really made it nice was, and it can be hard to find, but just a really good therapist. I mean, someone that can really relate, and someone that can make you cry in therapy is usually good, because in a way I found that if I really opened up more, that it was more enjoyable because I felt more peace, and I would want to return to that more often.
Okay, next. Okay, question from Mankato. Do any of you have siblings with FASD, and how do you work together to solve your differences between siblings? I guess, yeah.
Yes, I have 3 sisters that have fetal alcohol syndrome, or 2 sisters. Yeah, 3 sisters that have fetal alcohol syndrome, and probably all my brothers. So 3 brothers. And I guess boundaries is one way that we try to work out our differences. We just try to keep our distance from each other a little bit. And the older person should always act more mature, I guess. So.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, that should work.
Well, I have one sister who also has FASD. And well, we tell each other everything because we really understand each other. Like it, like we always tell each other our plans and like how we're feeling if we need support, and always depend on each other because we know how we feel like no one else understands us. Like even it feels like she understands me even more than my parents sometimes. Like my sister helps a lot.
I don't know biologically how many brothers and sisters I have with FAS. I gotta say, probably almost everyone. But as far as what grew up in my mom and dad household, he has fetal alcohol, so I have a brother. Um, well, he's uh, 4 or 5 years younger than me, so growing up was a little difficult. He never but now we're like we never fight and we're really nice. We don't live together, so that's probably like like when you meet when every time we go do fun things together, and he's very open with me and I'm open with him. He's in that he got diagnosed with fetal alcohol at a younger age than I did, and now he's in denial and said he doesn't have it. But I know the truth, but I'm not going to debate with him. But we're really really close, and that's a plus.
Um, I had a brother that was diagnosed with FASD, and it was much more severe than my case. Um, he was also adopted from Russia, but not any biological relations to me. Um, let's see. Just
Do you have differences that you needed to solve together?
yeah. He was definitely more aggressive at times, and I would be more passive, and he'd be more like assertive, and it'd be hard to get along with him because he would. I don't know. It was just hard to get along with him, kind of like a bully in the house. So as Richard said, boundaries were very helpful. I mean, I don't know, at a younger age, I would stay away from him more, and it didn't feel like a brotherly thing to do, but I couldn't relate to him that much, and I found it easier to stay less or stay a more distance from him, and it really just kept things a little more simple between us.
Okay. Anybody in the room here have a question they wanted to ask? Yeah. Okay. So the question is, do any of you have a memory of when you were first told that you had this diagnosis? How did you deal with it? Is there
I think I was like 8 or 9 when Dr. Chang did his research and told fetal alcohol syndrome. But when I was told then, I don't think it really affected me much because I was so hyper and crazy that I didn't process anything anyway. But I guess when I was a little bit older and I realized it more, it affected me a little bit bad that I had fetal alcohol syndrome because there was something wrong with me. I always thought there was something, but kind of all that stuff now. So.
Yeah, another question? Okay, the question is about dating or relationships with the opposite sex. What kind of rules did you have? How did you go about it? Right? Did I have it right? Okay.
Well, when I was in fifth grade, like I moved into like a different school. Oh, I have to tell you the story a little bit, otherwise it wouldn't make sense.
Go ahead, feel free.
Well, everyone started dating at like fifth grade, so I felt like I had to do it too. And so my parents said I couldn't do it, and then they kept on changing their mind. And it's like they said, well, if you're gonna do it, you have to be in a group of people, and you have to bring the people who you want to be with over to our house. So it's like since then I always had to do like group dates, and even though I don't like it, like well maybe it's good because if there isn't much to talk about, it's less awkward. Yeah.
Okay, so staying in groups.
Yeah.
I really didn't have rules. It was just my mom wanted to meet the girl and see if she liked her or not. So I mean, I did it. And I had nothing to hide. So I don't know. She approved of all of them. She was pretty laid back, easygoing, so it wasn't too hard to please her.
Right.
Usually there's just one rule, and that would be no dating. Um, as I got into high school, though, there's definitely peer pressure and for dating and stuff, and you tend to find people you really like, and sometimes it's hard to distinguish your feelings from them. So behind my parents' back, I've dated people. Um, And the most recent one was had to be broken up because my mom found out about it. But just really, it makes more sense to me now because I'm kind of experienced this, but dating I'm finding is not really a good thing for in high school because of all the upcoming stuff I have to deal with college and things, and I'm finding it easier to focus more on school and activities than having to worry about dating.
We had one rule in our house, or more than one rule, but it was they had to meet the parents. Parents seemed decent, I guess it was okay. I guess.
Well, as a younger adult, it was kind of iffy because my mom didn't care and my dad over cared. I could get by with things with my mother because I don't know, my mom's more easygoing. My dad, this was horrible. This is a memory. I was making up with a guy at 12 years old on the street corner. My dad came home from work early and he happened to see me. He put me on punishment for half the summer, and it was a thing called hard labor. I had to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and work around the house. I would get and half an hour break, and then I have to work till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And yeah, that was torture. But it helped for a while. I mean, I stopped talking to guys for a year, and then I was bad again. I was bad. I was a bad little girl. But now that growing up, I've been very over the last couple of years. I've been really aware of I need to be around more positive people because there's a lot of bad things out there. And I know, I mean, I was mad and I hated him through my whole entire life, basically, because of reasons like that. But now I realize he was just trying to protect me from the evil guys out there. Not saying you guys are evil, but a lot of the guys out there are. Okay. So don't get offensive.
Thank you. Sure. Are there any other questions from the audience? Okay. Well, I do have another one for you guys. What is something that you have accomplished that you're proud of? Something that you have done, small or big, whatever it is, but that you're able to be proud of.
I am the first male in my biological and my biological family to not gone to prison by the age 15 or the age 18 or the age 21.
That's just the product.
Something that was a big accomplishment for me is being able to solve the Rubik's Cube. Like, keep on being able to do it. I actually got it in my car right now. It's doing it on the way up here.
You do competitions, don't you?
Yeah, my next competition is actually in a couple of weeks, actually.
Doing the Rubik's Cube.
Thanks.
I've been sober from drugs for 9 years.
I have a lot of accomplishments. I'm glad I accomplished writing my 2 books. I'm also accomplished um, getting through and making it and living through all that almost deaths and being sober. Thank you.
Just finding out last year that I'm captain of the Nordic ski team for this year, which I'm very proud of, and it's great because I'm just really it makes it even more better because I know this is sport that I can do for many years, unlike football or other sports. And it's just really nice to know that I'm doing good in it.
And I just want to thank all of you so much. You have been so open and honest with us. You've shared a lot about your personal story and your lives. I know that's not always an easy thing to do, and I just want to acknowledge you and let you know that all of us here at all the sites, I think we can all say, we are so, so proud of you guys, and we're so happy to know you, and we thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. So we just applaud you again. And Sarah Messel is here. She is the executive director of MoFast, and she has a little thank you gift. Oh, Angie. A little thank you gift to present to each of our panelists. Also want to remind you guys to fill out your evaluations and stop by the table in the hallway, has Liz's books that she brought that are for sale here tonight. So a couple reminders. Oh, Sarah's going to present. Yeah. Did you want to say anything, Sarah?
Do you want to say a few words?
After doing this whole panel thing, what's your guys' view on FAS?
So the question was from Troy. He's turning it back to you guys. After you've heard them share their story, what's your view? I heard someone say hopeful. Thank you. Okay, now I'm supposed to say something after that. I'm a big crier, so I just really want to, on behalf of MoFast, I have 3 groups to thank. First of all, to the audience here and in our greater Minnesota locations, thank you all because you came and you showed our panel and you showed our organization that these guys truly are the experts and that you value what they have to say and that they are our greatest teachers. And so to that, for all the traffic you went through and trying to find the building and all of that, we really say thank you for spending the evening with us. To the parents and caregivers and spouses of this group up here, oh my goodness, I bet you parents are very, very, very proud of this incredible group of young people. And I bet, just like Monica, there's not a parent with a younger kid in the audience that just says, oh my gosh, it is worth it. We will get through this. And every day is a challenge, but they are here to tell you that it maybe isn't the way you thought your life would turn out, but it's turning out pretty darn good. And so we really, really, really thank you to all the parents. And finally, to these 5 amazing people, you are truly our heroes. You guys are amazing. And we, like I said, you are our greatest teachers. We are so, so proud of you. And we are going to take their message through them everywhere that we can. We truly want our legislators to hear the stories of these people and what they've been through, and the fact that a little bit of support helps them have very successful, rich, and fulfilling lives. And so we are going to keep sharing this story and welcome other young people to join us in telling this story. And I encourage you all to come to our annual meeting. I'm going to do a plug for that, our annual meeting celebration. Richard is going to be speaking at that meeting, and we are also going to get to see Martin's latest rap. He's now got a rap on, am I saying that right? It's on YouTube. And it's really going to be amazing, and we're going to get to see it the night of the annual meeting. So those are just a couple of the highlights from that night. So I hope you'll all come and help us celebrate. Thanks again. Drive safe, and don't forget to fill out your evaluations. And Sierra has one more thing.
Okay. think I'm still on. The satellite sites, you guys can disconnect at this time. At each site, there is a family resource coordinator there who's going to share a little bit about her role in the community as a parent support and what resources are there. So thanks for joining us. You guys can tune out because we're going to continue talking here a little bit about that. I know there are a lot of parents in the room, and so we are actually not able to have one of our metro area, maybe one of our metro area family resource coordinators here with us tonight personally. But I wanted you all to be aware that there is a team of parents around the state. I think there are 9 parents on this team who are solely working to support families. And they are 1 year old as a team. They are very aware of the resources in their area, and I can connect you with the ones in the metro area if you live in this area and would like to be connected to a family resource coordinator to work with your family specifically. If you are a professional, also, for any families you know or are working with, they are a great resource for that as well. So feel free to connect with me on that. I work with them very closely, and I can put you in touch. So, guys, that's it. Have a good night.